Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. All right, man, let's go through the Sunday slate. 8 games in the 1 o'clock window. We're back to the 8 at the 1 o'clock. Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts are favored by 1.5 in Jacksonville, where they haven't won since the 80s.
The 80s. Didn't they get one? They had a run of like 13 straight or something, and then they got one.
I think they did. So we mentioned before with the Colts, their run, they just lost to Houston last week. They still have to play Houston one more time. They've got 2 against the Jags. So the Colts, who at one point, like they're still – it's funny. I think on Monday Night Football they had this the Patriots were playing, and it's like, let's take a look at all the teams fighting for the number 1 seed. And they put up the Patriots, they put up the Broncos, and they put up the Colts. And it was like, guys, you got to update the graphic. The Colts are tied for the top of the division. And right now the Jags have the tiebreaker. We're still living in this world where the Colts were like in the mix for the number 1 overall seed. And theoretically they are. But now they're back with Jacksonville and Houston. They're battling for their lives in the AFC South.
I mean, they're in that group tied with the Chargers and the Bills in terms of wild cards. And, yeah, they've gone from number 1 seed, juggernaut, this is the team that everyone didn't see coming, to – I mean, they're still favored to make the playoffs now, but if they lose this game, they're down to like a coin flip. Like if they lose this game, it's down to 55%. Somehow this team that ran out to this incredible early season record, they didn't get over the line yet. I mean, they got very close, but if they lose another game and that run, they got Jacksonville where they historically struggle to win, then they're on the road in Seattle.
Yeah.
Then they have the San Francisco 49ers who continue to win games. Then Jacksonville again at home, and then the Texans on the road. Like, this is a brutal run-in for the Colts. And I don't know how many wins they need to secure the playoff spot, but they're going to need a couple, and those are all tough games.
It's very similar to this Chargers schedule that I'm talking about, right? No losing records there.
Where is Timo's percentage of, I don't know what actually factors into this, but he's got the percentage playoff chances at given win totals. Indianapolis, if they win 11 games, so they need 3, 98% chance. Here's the thing, though, 10, if they only win 2 of the next 5 games, 2% chance. That's not right. 12, that must be 12. That must be a typo because 9 wins is 7%.
Yeah. So what do they need if they get to
They
10?
basically need to get to 11 wins, according to this, depending on what that typo actually is.
So they probably need to go 3-2 here with 2 games against the Jags, 1 against the Texans, and then the 2 NFC West, the Seahawks and Niners, a couple 9-win teams.
They need, I think, they basically need to win more than they lose of the next 5 games.
Yeah. And now what have they done the last month? And
meanwhile, yeah, they're on a run of 3 losses in 4 games.
3 out of 4, and their 1 win was an overtime win
against Atlanta in Germany, right?
And the 3 losses are against Steelers, Chiefs, and Texans.
Yeah.
All I want to say pretty good AFC teams. We'll see what the Steelers really are, but the last 2 weeks in particular. So that's something to keep an eye on. Plus you get the broken fibula for Daniel Jones.
The Atlanta game is also the only one that they cleared 30 points in since they beat up on the Titans. And again, the Atlanta game, they needed overtime to get there.
And then if we take a step back, all right, just to break down the Colts here, they've had some impressive wins. Like they've definitely beaten up on some bad teams.
Yeah, not for a while, though.
They beat the Broncos. There was a leverage play. They beat the Rams. There was an A.D. Mitchell plays, that went the other way. I mean, they lost to the Rams, but there were A.D. Mitchell plays that went against them. They beat the Chargers pretty handily, 38-24. That was one of their more impressive wins, and they've beaten up on some bad teams. So let's see what we have here. Sauce Gardner's hurt for the Colts. On the other side, Jags, I think Trevor Lawrence is coming off his best game. Yeah, it was against the Titans, but I think we're starting to see, I don't want to say cleaner play because 2 weeks ago he threw 3 picks against Arizona, and they were pretty awful. But that same game had incredible anticipation plays, I think we're seeing a little more confidence and trust from Trevor Lawrence since the Jacoby Myers trade. And Jacoby Myers has been incredibly efficient since they traded for him from the Raiders. And last week was the first week we saw him, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, at least for a little bit before he left, Brenton Strange at tight end. they might have the right mix of playmakers now to get the most out of Trevor Lawrence down the stretch here.
They're two similar teams in a way. Like, you've got two teams that I think are pretty good on both sides of the ball in most areas, and then the quarterback is a question mark for each one of them. It's a different question mark. Like, Trevor Lawrence is the $55 million a year quarterback, the former number one overall pick, the next greatest thing. And Daniel Jones is a guy who was sort of maybe overdrafted, worked out for a bit, was kicked to the curb, and then has been this reclamation project in Indy. But it's kind of the same idea. It's like, which one of these quarterbacks plays the better or cleaner game in this?
The other thing that I said early in the year about this Jags team, remember how turnover dependent they were the first 5 weeks of the season, and that's going to run out. You literally cannot force 3 turnovers per game like they were for the first 4 or 5 weeks. But I said, look, they still haven't had that passing offense, firing yet. And, 2 weeks ago, there were 3 picks. The week before that, they didn't need the pass game a ton against the Chargers. But I think the last 2 weeks, they've shown a little bit more big playability in the pass game. And I would say overall, Trevor Lawrence has underachieved relative to previous baselines. But he's I almost want to spin that too. Like, if he went on a nice little 5-game stretch here, 6-game stretch starting last week, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I could see Lawrence having a good finish to the season here. And then the Jags are really dangerous if he plays at a level that I always go back to, the end of the 2022 season, beginning of 2023. He's had these stretches of play. Was last week the beginning of that? I'm looking for patterns here, Sam. Looking for patterns. Was last week against Tennessee coinciding with Jacoby Myers coming in here? Is that going to be
I'm done
the
with
trigger?
We've been literally since the beginning of year 2 with Trevor Lawrence. It's been
looking for patterns.
Is he turned the corner? Has Trevor Lawrence, has the switch gone on?
Year 5 has Trevor Lawrence turned the corner. Yeah. We said the same thing about Daniel Jones, and I thought he played all right last week. I still don't completely trust him, right? He had stretches of 6 fumbles in 2 games.
But my question
I know
for
he's
him,
got the injury.
That's a big thing, I think. My question for him is, how much is that affecting everything?
It's a fair question.
Like, I don't know. I've never broken a fibula. I don't know how much that's going to affect you. Like, again, I've only seen one small clip of him in practice looking injured, but he looked very encumbered with that. And if that's the default pain level that he's dealing with right now, that has to affect everything. Maybe not like, oh no, I can't, but like, it just, if your central nervous system is dealing with that kind of constant distraction while you're trying to focus on throwing a ball, 40 yards downfield to an intended target, can't be helping.
At their best, though, this Colts offense, Josh Downs is banged up. They don't know if he's going to be able to go. But at their best, having Alec Pierce down the field, Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren working the middle of the field and catching a wide. By the way, I think they tried the tight end screen the first play last week, and the Texans were all over it. And that's like, if that's not working, trouble. If you can't get the tight end screen game going. Once a week, it's supposed to work for 15 for Tyler Warren. But they've got the pass catchers. They got Jonathan Taylor able to run the ball out of the backfield. I think the offensive line has had more issues these last couple weeks than they had previously, and so it's going to be a fun matchup here.
Yeah, it will be. I think it's a good matchup. I think they're both pretty good teams, and the Colts need to stop the rot. They're starting to run out of margin for error, having looked so comfortable before.
All right, where do you want to go with this one?
I'm going to go with the Jags. I think the Colts wobble is very real.
And again, this is in Jacksonville. The Colts have struggled winning there historically. Not so much in the Dome, but in Jacksonville. So yeah, I'll take the Jags as underdogs here, as well, as will Harry.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.